Over the countless years that humanity has roamed the earth, there have been rumors, myths, and legends about gateways that may lead us to another world. Today, we haven't found any evidence that these gateways exist. However, in ancient times, it seems like gateways like this were fairly common. Today, we'd like to introduce you to several of these mysterious portals that, according to legend, serve as a link between our own dimension and the other dimensions that may be out there, scattered among the stars. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. The Gate of the Gods. In Peru, Jose Luis Delgado Mamani began working as a tour guide in Peru throughout the mid-1990s. Around this time, he went out on an expedition to find a new region for his next set of tours. While he was out searching the area, he came across a strange location that is now known as the Gate of the Gods. While Jose wasn't expecting to find any sort of gateway to a different world, this wouldn't be the first time he saw something like this. Jose says that throughout his life, he's had dreams and visions of a mystical doorway that could lead someone into a mystical world of gods. He says that the doorway he would often see would glow in a beautiful blue color. It had two doors. One of the doors was about 7 meters tall and supposedly belonged to the gods. This doorway would let the gods freely pass from our dimension to their own. However, a smaller door was located next to it, only measuring about 2 meters. This doorway would have been for humans that the gods personally selected, allowing them passage into the ethereal realm. The gods would come to Earth and speak with humans, selecting some of them to serve at their side for all eternity. This doorway would have been created thousands of years ago as a way for the gods to freely mingle among humans. We don't know for sure what this doorway would have been used for, and it's possible the doorway is only part of a structure that was never completed. It was carved into the side of a rock and can be found in the wilderness of Peru. Thousands of people flock to the mystical doorway each year, hoping to gain a glimpse at the mystical world that may exist far beyond our own. The Place of the Gods in Abu Ghurab. The city of Abu Ghurab has been shrouded in mystery for thousands of years. We believe this city would have been built about 4,500 years ago and was home to a series of shrines. 2 of these shrines were designed to align with the sun and were created to honor the ancient Egyptian god of Re. A platform can also be found in the city, which many people believe would have been used by a high priest. This supernatural platform would have been created so that the priests could communicate with a higher power to gain knowledge about humanity and guidance to lead their people. It's said that the high priest would enter the platform and be visited by disembodied voices of the gods that would speak to them and reveal important information. What's extremely interesting about this platform is that it shares many of its characteristics with portals that would have been used by the native Cherokee Americans. These people settled in North America and are known to have taken part in all sorts of rituals that were designed to please the gods and bring prosperity to Earth. We have reason to believe that the Native Americans would use these rituals to communicate with people whom they believed lived on distant stars in our galaxy. We don't know too much about these rituals or how realistic this idea really is, but the Native Americans truly believed they were contacting the gods. Stone formation in Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan, located in the United States, is a truly massive body of water. It spans more than 58,000 kilometers and has been filled with mysteries over the years, though nothing could have prepared scientists for what they would find in 2007. A team of researchers was searching the depths of Lake Michigan looking for abandoned shipwrecks. While they didn't find what they were looking for, they did uncover a mystery that has weighed heavily on the minds of Americans and historians for more than 13 years since its discovery. At the bottom of the lake, they found a gigantic rock formation that they believe was built around 9,000 years ago. We don't have a way to confirm this, but the structure has now been referred to as Stonehenge of Lake Michigan. We don't know how these stones would have been placed the way they are, as researchers estimate that they would weigh several tons each. In the early days of humanity, we would have had no way to lift rocks this large. In fact, lifting a rock like this would be nearly impossible these days as well. It didn't take long for theories to begin running rampant by both the scientists and the locals. One of the main theories, much like the real Stonehenge, is that these rocks would have served as a gateway between humanity and the realm of the gods. The theories claim that the stone formations would have been activated somehow and that a portal would have appeared that could allow humans to freely walk among the gods. We don't have a way to test this theory today, obviously. But this theory isn't as outlandish as you may think. That's because Lake Michigan is known to be a hotspot for missing people, specifically sailors. Between 1891 and 1937, at least 13 sailors went missing while sailing Lake Michigan. All of these expeditions would have been fairly routine, and most of the sailors were highly skilled at sea. Though for some reason, they disappeared and never returned. All these years later, their bodies have never been found. This is part of the reason the researchers were combing the area that day, searching for shipwrecks. While the wreckage they were searching for has yet to be uncovered, they may still have found an explanation for what happened to all those sailors so many years ago. Stonehenge. No, this is not a repeat. We now make our way to the real Stonehenge, the one that has baffled humanity for hundreds of years. This incredible rock structure is one of the most famous creations in human history and has left researchers scratching their heads, wondering what purpose it could have served. Much like the Stonehenge of Lake Michigan, the real Stonehenge is made up of rocks that weigh dozens of tons each. Yet the rock formation is believed to have been assembled sometime around the year 3100 BC. If this is true, ancient humans must have had access to technology or knowledge that we have missed out on over the years, or that has been lost to the steady march of time. We have no idea how ancient humans would have been able to lift these incredibly heavy rocks, or why they would have wanted to in the first place. There are countless theories that have popped up over the years, but the truth is, we simply don't know. Teams of researchers have worked together to come up with a conclusion. The most common theory claims that Stonehenge would have been created using rocks from a quarry. Though the kicker is that this quarry is located a whopping 380 kilometers away. There's no chance ancient humans would have been able to travel such an incredible distance in such a short period of time. When you tack on that they would have been carrying hundreds of tons of rocks, that theory is almost completely impossible. One of the more interesting theories that have come from Stonehenge claims that a series of 14 ley lines intersect at the exact location of Stonehenge. These lines are supposedly crafted by ancient humans. Conspiracy theorists say that these lines may hold mystical powers and may be sources of incredible energy. The lines can be drawn between various historical monuments and link almost every historic monument in the world. They can be found all across the globe, in places like the United States, Canada, Mexico, and of course, Europe and Asia. We don't know what purpose these lines may have served, but many people claim that mystical powers reside within the lines and the areas they may intersect. If this is true, Stonehenge may have served a much more mystical purpose than any of us could possibly imagine. Regardless, to this day, we don't know for sure why Stonehenge would have been built. Stargate of the Sumerians. The Sumerian people are often regarded as some of the most mysterious humans to ever live, mostly because they were among the first modern humans to roam the earth. The Sumerians created one of the first major settlements in world history, but they also had access to incredible knowledge that evaded other settlements for thousands of years. For example, the Sumerians created the first known version of the writing system. Cuneiform writing was unheard of at that time, and many of the symbols and letters that the Sumerians created all those years ago are still being used today, or at least different versions of them are. The Sumerians were highly religious and would often give credit for their countless inventions to the gods. Much of their lifestyle was deeply rooted in religion, and they would tell stories of all sorts of gods that would come down to visit humanity, bringing along gifts of knowledge that would plunge humanity forward thousands of years, such as the invention of the wheel and the plow. The Sumerians also have depictions of an ancient stargate that appears to have helped them interface with the gods. A Sumerian seal shows an image of a god that seems to be entering the earthly world through some sort of mysterious portal. The image shows a god on a staircase surrounded by columns of water. To make the story of the Sumerians even more compelling, they created hundreds of different works of art that showed depictions of gods visiting Earth using all sorts of otherworldly methods, including images of what could be best described as flying saucers. Their artwork also shows several images of stars and galaxies, but we don't understand how the Sumerians would have had any knowledge of outer space. After all, not only were they ancient humans, they were literally one of the first groups of humans to roam the earth. It doesn't make sense how they would have been able to tell stories from the great beyond and concoct wild stories about gods and angels visiting humanity. In one of their more popular works of art, they created a depiction of a god that appears to be wearing a wristwatch. The god is seen pushing a button on the wall of some sort of gate. We can assume this gate is what allowed the gods to travel between worlds or dimensions, but all of this information has been lost to time. This hasn't kept people from coming up with all sorts of theories about this mysterious gateway, though. Some people claim that the gateway may still exist, but it's buried in the ruins of a city that is located in Mesopotamia. The city, known as Eridu, was lost thousands of years ago, and much of the city remains undiscovered to this day. It's crazy to think that ancient stories like this, specifically those from ancient Sumeria, seem to directly tie in with the Christian Bible. Even more interesting is that after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, most of these stories of gods and deities abruptly ended. The Christian belief is that Jesus Christ would have been both God and man, and that after his crucifixion, he made a promise to one day return to earth and save everyone who remained faithful to him and his teachings. At the end of Jesus' mission on earth, he ascended into the heavens, much like the gods that are spoken of in ancient Sumerian texts. The Christian Bible is believed by many to be solely based on real-world occurrences. While these stories have been doubted in recent years, they have never been disproven. So, is it possible that the stories of the ancient gateways to another world could be completely true? Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.